Welcome back to another CPaaSAA Talks. I'm Kevin Nethercott, the managing partner here at the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance, and we are preparing for Enterprise Connect. Today, I'm joined by Ricardo from Speechmatics, who will be joining us in Orlando. Ricky, you're also joined by your friend Humphrey. Can Humphrey tell us a little bit about Enterprise Connect?
Yeah, sure. I can definitely get him to help us out. Humphrey comes everywhere with me, so can you do me a quick favor and I'll just get him booted up here and ask him about the show. So this is Humphrey for anyone who's asking, by the way. Humphrey, can you do me a favor and just let me know a little bit about what's going to be? This is actually broken. Typical. We might have to start again because I think I've just broken.
Let's do that because I brought Humphrey in before you, so I should introduce you and have you say hello, and then we'll.
Give me 1 second, just because I think I might have done something strange on my phone, which is just stop this all working. That is working now. Yep. Okay. Fantastic. That's working. Good.
Glad to hear everything's working smoothly now. Is there anything else I can assist you with today?
Okay. I think we're good to start.
Okay. Great. All right. So, welcome to another edition of CPaaSAA Talks. Today, we're meeting with Ricardo from Speechmatics to introduce and welcome him to the Innovation Village taking place at Enterprise Connect. Ricky, welcome to our conversation today.
Yep, great to speak with you today, Kevin. As I say, very excited to be over at Enterprise Connect. Speechmatics has been a few times before, but it's definitely sort of shot up the importance on our radar recently. So looking forward to going to Orlando in a few weeks' time.
Yeah, no, we appreciate you joining us in the Innovation Village that will be taking place there. Now, I believe you have a friend with you that can tell us a little bit more about what's happening at Enterprise Connect.
I do indeed. I don't go anywhere without Humphrey, and when I don't have the information I need at my fingertips, he tends to help me out. So. Humphrey, could you give me a bit of help and just let me know what is Enterprise Connect, the show in Orlando, when is it, what's going on there, that sort of thing.
Righto, let me have a look for you. Orlando has a cracking lineup in February 2025. You can catch Jerry Seinfeld.
I know that's Orlando, but I want to know specifically about Enterprise Connect.
Got it. Let me find that info for you. Enterprise Connect in Orlando is happening from March 17th to the 20th, 2025, at the Gaylord Palms Resort. It's all about enterprise communications with keynotes from the likes of Zoom, Google and Microsoft. Loads of sessions, a massive expo hall, and plenty of networking opportunities await you there. Anything else you'd like to know?
No, that's enough for now, but very helpful to know. And as I say, I've got my little assistant for if I need it for anything else too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So tell me a little bit about what innovations you plan to share with us there in Orlando.
So obviously Speechmatics historically has been doing speech to text. You turn audio into text, you upload it, you download it, you get a file, nice and fun. And then we've moved over the last few years to really emphasize that real-time or live transcription type of thing. So fit across 55 languages, being able to see live subtitling, live captioning, anything that can drive a sort of a human to machine type interaction. And obviously in the contact center space, this is absolutely fundamental, not just for getting sort of post-call analytics, but getting live sort of live in-call agent assist, sort of rerouting, anything that automates what is happening within a call. And as you heard from Flow, which is our product there earlier on, that is part of what we're going to be demoing and releasing there. Essentially, the ability to either have your own agent that is fully automated and therefore can deal with maybe the top 20 or top 50% of types of calls, and then either move them across to a human being if needed or sort of resolve them directly, or to be able to sort of act as an assistant which listens in, helps summarize, helps sort of give different types of information afterwards. Anything that sort of just streamlines the sort of the contact center process at all. That's sort of what we're going to be talking about. So speech recognition on one side, live conversational AI through our Flow platform on the other.
That's awesome. I think, as we move into this generation where AI will play such an important role in our communications, particularly with CCaaS, as we have this customer experience, the ability to, with high quality and fidelity, be able to go from speech to text has such an impact on the quality that the AI and LLMs can actually have on that data that it has. So you're playing, I think, a critical role. What would be a key use case that you're seeing, maybe a customer reference, that Speechmatics has made a big impact with this technology?
So historically, our sort of our play in this sort of space has been either in the batch, let's call it sort of offline transcription space, where we've worked with everyone from sort of DHL to Vonage to lots of others. A lot of them we can't name, unfortunately, because they like to keep what they're using under wraps. But the use cases being everything from basic call summary and information, searching through for personally identifiable information, making sure that can be removed, anything that's sort of risk or fraudulent, being able to help out on that side, all the way around to these more real-time use cases now where you want to be able to live interact with the call. So Speechmatics is there to give the absolutely best understanding of what is being said. So working on making sure that we understand every single word in lots of different languages across lots of different accents. We have a much broader vocabulary than other people. So being able to get the words that are less common but matter more, those particular product names, sort of all those in-house sort of random places where people live, right? Sort of being able to deliver all of that is really important. And then, as I say, as we move into the real-time use cases, there are so many, and more of it is being automated to the point where actually you can now use us to provide that whole conversation. We will be the interaction sort of in and out with the LLM, and the LLM might be sort of the LLM that each business sort of brings to us. And Speechmatics providing that that's about intelligent, really seamless, really natural conversation, which is focused on three core pillars, which is what was said, how it was said, and also who said it, making sure that you're reacting to the right person in the right way, being able to summarize the information based on who said what as well.
That's amazing. So within that framework, are you providing a complete turnkey solution, or are you typically partnering with other organizations and you're embedded? What's kind of the typical deployment solution?
It's a bit of everything, to be honest. Obviously, if you can work with the end customers, then that's great. Sort of ends up being sort of more exciting, bigger deals, a bit more bespoke. But obviously, that does also limit your reach. So, in terms of what we do, in some cases, we'll partner sort of to be able to sell directly into a contact center providers. But sometimes the big businesses will want to come to work with us directly. What's really interesting about the space sort of going forward is that if you're just providing speech to text or text to speech, that might be an API call that you use either via the cloud or sort of via some kind of on-premise or indeed on-device installation. But if you're going into sort of something which is more of these conversational agents, then actually it's a far more sort of in-depth interaction with the end business, because I think a lot of businesses are also discovering for themselves how they want to be managing their own information in an automated way. Do they want to sort of be function calling into a database of information, or do they want to have an LLM which essentially owns the repository of their information, which then interacts with our conversational layer on top of it? It's still very new, and I think this is very much the year of agentic AI, and everyone's still trying to work out exactly what that means. The demos are great, and it's just a question of making sure that what's being created is actually enterprise ready and efficient, which is where some Speechmatics is focusing. So we're making sure that we're not saying you have to use this LLM particularly to use it. We're not saying that the LLM needs to be in the cloud. We're building the model to be cascaded, so you can say, oh, you know what, I'd like to use this speech to text system, but I want to choose a couple of different text to speech options here. I actually don't want to be using, I don't have to run everything through OpenAI because it gets very expensive, right? So being able to take that in an enterprise fashion where you can also upload your own product names, your customized dictionary, is where we're placing this. But there's a lot of sort of obviously hand-holding in getting that to a solution, because the space is just evolving so fast, right? And people know they need to innovate, they know they need to automate with AI, but they're still asking themselves when and how do we do it, and it's really exciting. But yeah, so it's part of going to Enterprise Connect is also to understand how people are thinking about this more in depth as well.
No, that's great. I would like to double click on agentic AI because you're right. That's kind of a new term that's just made its way into our vocabulary. From a Speechmatics perspective, what does that mean to you? How are you supporting that? What can I do? Maybe walk us through a little bit that next level of detail of how agentic AI might help me in my business.
Yeah, so for us, there's the two, I guess, buzzwords for the year, but the words I've been saying a lot more than I would have expected are agentic and also ambient AI, right? And so there is an amount of agentic AI that can be done, sort of essentially getting LLMs to automate what you might otherwise have needed to be doing as a human. So automating your text-based chatbot, right? So you know that you've got all of your FAQs that tend to come through from your business. You know that sort of people want to get in touch, find out whatever query they might have, and being able to deal with a sort of a chat box in more of a natural speech manner is a really nice thing to be able to do. Now we're coming along and we're saying, okay, so let's take that agent, but let's give that agent a voice. Let's give it a personality, because there's a huge number of people who, for whom sort of access to cutting edge technology, and cutting edge technology at the moment is LLMs, isn't available, right? As in, I think about I talked to my dad, and so he lives over in Spain, and for him, Google and the internet are sort of two different options, right? He's not a tech savvy person. Nonetheless, with the conversational voice enabled AI that we've essentially put into an app and into a product, he's able to interact with an LLM on a daily basis to ask sort of the most complex questions. He is at the forefront of technology purely because we've taken that most human, basic sort of thing that we learned, the first thing that we essentially learn in our lives, and we've used that to bring the cutting edge of technology to those who perhaps wouldn't otherwise be able to access it, which for me is the really exciting thing. So I think a lot of businesses are now looking at how they can do two things. One, how do they get part of the sort of the AI automation? How do they get onto that train? But two, how can they use that to sort of to bring a sort of huge amount of their customer bases or user bases sort of right up into the 21st century?
No, this is really exciting, and I think what we're seeing across all of our membership is a real push into this space, right? And it's interesting where in some elements it ends up being a cost savings, others it's a much better experience. But I think the net of where this is going is it's a net positive, right? I think we're starting to see a number of really interesting use cases within the CPaaS Acceleration Alliance Service Provider Playbook, where I know that we've highlighted Speechmatics in your use cases, and so we direct a number of our listeners to come and look at our playbook, and you can find these types of use cases documented there. But more importantly, you can come to Orlando and see it firsthand, experience it. I'm sure you'll be able to actually let me talk into it in Japanese and probably translate it back into English or Spanish in your case sometime. But it's exciting times with what you're bringing to market here. Maybe lastly, who are you trying to meet and interact with at Enterprise Connect?
I mean, obviously, we don't get sign off for shows without at least being able to have some element of trying to find customers there. That's how the finance team like to see their return on investment in that sense. But for me, this is more about sort of really being able to get under the skin of how the market is evolving, how sort of this entire world is thinking about things, how they want to interact. One of the big questions we have right now is, do we want to own the LLM? Do people want to bring their own LLM? I never thought sort of bring your own LLM, BYOLLM, would be sort of a product discussion that we'd be having, but it is, right? So for me, it's so much about showing what we've got right now, seeing what the feedback from the market is, and then there are so many use cases that could be automated first in this way, and it's trying to work out which one of those are going to be the lowest hanging fruits, the ones where there's the least amount of work to make it happen, because interacting with machines is going to be at the forefront of the next 5, 10, well, I mean, frankly, the future. And so we just want to make sure that we go through that process in the right order, in the areas where we can make the biggest impact as soon as possible.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Well, we are absolutely excited to have you as part of the Innovation Village. What you are will be demonstrating, what you'll be showing there as part of the Innovation Village is the very definition of innovation. This is really cutting edge stuff. And I think everyone would really benefit by coming by and seeing the team at Speechmatics. So, Ricky, thank you for your time today. And we're excited to see you in Orlando in just a few short weeks.
Thank you very much, Kevin. And yeah, I'll see you there.
All right. Thank you very much.